You are listening to the Urban Sports Scene with Wole and Ray. It's time for HBCU Corner. Our guest is no stranger to the corner. Let's welcome the coach of the MEAC men's basketball regular season title, who had the regular season title, Norfolk State Spartans, Coach Robert Jones. What's up, homie? And welcome back to HBCU Corner with the Urban Sports Scene. What's going on, my man?
What's up? What's up? Good to be back.
Hey, for sure. Hey, listen, you know you've been coming on this show for a while, as my man just alluded to. So we got some history, and we like to have a little fun, as you know, before we get to the serious stuff. So my first question is this. We know where you're from, and we know where you currently reside. So if you were starting a team from scratch and you had to build a team around somebody, who would you select, a prime AI or a prime Starberry?
Good question. I don't know. I think you can't go wrong with either one. I mean, for real. I mean, just depends on what you like, man. I guess I got to choose, but I mean, I can't go against New York against Starberry. I guess
I knew it. I knew it.
I get too many recruits from New York to go against them. But I mean, you know, they both. You can't, like I said, you can't go wrong. Steph obviously was probably a better guy running the team, facilitating. You know, his assist number says that. But if you want a pure scorer, man, I mean, you know, AI is the scorer.
Hey, didn't they play against each other when AI was in Georgetown and Steph was in Georgia Tech?
That was a big game. Huge game,
right? They did play. Yeah, I thought so.
Huge game. Yep. So Steph was a freshman. AI was a sophomore.
Yeah, thought so. Yeah.
Oh, you stayed loyal to New York. Okay, so
yeah,
Ty Water, you know where his loyalty lies. Even though he signed that extension, you know what it is. Hey, but you're gonna need that extension because them tolls back in your home state is getting real, my dude. Oh my God,
yeah, they're ridiculous. Everybody up there must be rich. I mean, I lived up there for a long time and I wasn't rich. So I'll tell you that much. I don't know how I made it. But everybody must be rich up there. Every time I go back, I say everybody must be rich because I don't get it. How do you live up there? I don't understand how you live up there now anymore.
Hey, Coach, did you see Starberry play ball? I mean, before he went to Georgia Tech? Out there in Rucker and whatnot?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I still play with the Gauchos.
Okay.
Like, tournaments and stuff like that, yeah. I had just missed him in high school because if I'm not mistaken, I think he graduated in 96.
Yeah, he's running around that time. Yeah.
In 96. Or maybe 95. I forgot what it is.
But yeah, because they had 96. You're right. I think 95. Had to be 95, right?
Yeah, 95.
AI that came out in 96.
Yeah. So I think it was 95. So so I was 2 years behind him.
Uh-huh.
So I didn't catch the Starberry in high school, like playing against him or anything like that.
Okay. Now, cause I be watching Cameron and Mace talk about him, and I always want to know if it's like the stories are true about how thorough he was. I mean, we all knew he was thorough, but like how thorough he was out there in New York on that side.
Yeah. No, I mean, I seen him play, but I never played got a chance to play against him or anything like that. It's just the age difference. But yeah, I mean, he was the first guy that I seen to shoot from half court like it was a regular jump shot. Because his elevation of the jump shot was like still to this day. Probably one of the best I've seen. I mean, if you ever watch him shoot, I mean, he gets off the ground at least like 3 feet. Like it's like incredible what he does. But now Starberry, he had the city in a chokehold, man. You know, and Cameron was a good player too, though.
Yeah, I heard. I mean, he gasses himself up, so it's hard to talk. It's hard to listen. I mean, I mess with Cameron, but it's hard to like see if it's true or not. But he talks about like he was one of them.
Yeah, he was good. He was good. I mean, he was in like. All city through my sophomore year, he was like all city with like a triple double, almost like 10, 10, 10, and 10, but it was 10 steals though. You know, so he was never one of those guys that was like this 30-point a game scorer, man. You know, so you know that's a lie. But you know, he's probably a guy that was like one of them dudes though, you know, that you had to, you know, that was definitely his name was you know, floating in the city, and it wasn't for rap at that time.
I'm gonna ask you one more little New York basketball question. Was Felipe Lopez like that? I mean, because when St. John's, he wasn't what I expected to be, but was he like that in high school?
I think it was Felipe. Yeah, he was like that. But Felipe, the thing with Felipe was that because he was like that, people was expecting him to go to college to average 30.
Yeah,
you know,
I did.
so
I did too.
he averaged like 18 his freshman year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And maybe 18, 19. I mean, that's a hell of a freshman year. But because you want to cover Sports Illustrated, people think you average. It's like if LeBron would have ever went to college.
True.
People would have thought he was going to average 30, you know, and the college game is so different, you know, I mean, than the high school game. It's different than the pro game. So just because you know, I don't know what Felipe averaged in high school, probably 25, 29, that, you know, that doesn't mean you're going to get 29 in college, man. You know, it's a different level. And then with him, Felipe, you know, I think it was a sophomore, junior, he got hurt a little bit, not, you know, season ending, but just like a little tweak that kind of slowed him down. But at the end of the day, he still was a first-round pick in the NBA, you know? And then, so he did get hurt in the NBA, though, which kind of finished his career. But, yeah, I mean, that's why, you know, I know we got to talk about HBCU stuff. That's why people need to give LeBron more of his flowers because Felipe was LeBron before LeBron. Felipe had all the hype and all, like, the expectations before LeBron did. And you see, unfortunately, Felipe didn't reach those levels that people thought he did, but LeBron did it, exceeded it. He's still doing it. I mean, you know, he's still, you know, averaging 25 points a game at almost 40 years old. You know, I can barely get outside and do anything at 40 years old. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, in the NBA. Hey, come on now.
I thought Lenny Cook was like that dude, man.
Lenny Cook was a dude. Now I did play against Lenny Cook.
Okay.
I did play against him. Yep. I was a little, you know, well, I say I was older, but I don't know if I was really older because he was just in, you know, in high school a little longer than I was, you know. So we might be about the same age for real. So yeah, that's the truth. So, you know, but yeah, I got a chance to play against Lenny Cook. Lenny Cook was a very talented player, man. He was good. Lenny Cook was good.
Well, Coach, you know, we're here to talk HBCU, but first off, like I said before we started recording, congratulations on winning the collegeinsider.com postseason tournament, the CIT. How was that experience, and what did you learn? What did you learn about your team during that whole experience?
Learned about team one, you know, the human mind can get over anything. You know, with the you know, the human mind is a powerful thing because the thing I say, I credit to those guys that went out and won a championship last night was that you could have been soaking still, you know, even 2 weeks later after the loss, or you could have finally put it out your mind and say, hey, forget about it. We're going to play and we're going to do it now. That first game against Alabama A&M, I can't say we did the greatest job. I think we were still soaking a little bit. That first half was putrid. You know, like we came out and it was awful, man. You know, but then at halftime, we had to have a real man-to-man conversation about this thing. And then we came out, we won that game by 16. So then it kind of got the juices flowing a little bit again. And then, you know, last night we came out against a very good Purdue Fort Wayne team. I mean, they really shoot the ball. They got great dribble drive offense, you know. And we had to man up again because, I mean, they had us down by 18 at the crib. And we haven't been down 18 to nobody at the house, you know. And so I think that was like almost like a wake-up call, like, you know, what is going on right now? But once again, it was all credit to them. You know, they came with a great game plan. That's the way they play. It's a little different style that we played all year. And it came in and slapped us around a little bit. Then once we settled down and got our bearings and really figured out what they were trying to do, because you got to understand, too, even from a coaching perspective, it was like a 1.5 day turnaround. You know, we didn't know who we were going to play until like 10 o'clock on Monday. So it's not like we've been preparing for these guys all. Yeah, you look at them a little bit, trying to get a feel for both teams, but to really like dive in was like really like a day and a half to really dive in. And you know, they did some things that were some good things, and we had to, you know, do a lot of coaching on the fly last night. You know, like sometimes you can come into the game and have everything kind of mapped out. But last night was a lot of coaching on the fly to get that win.
Wow. So, Coach, you talk about the play of you corrected me, so I'm gonna call him Philly, but for folks who don't know, Christian Ings, like, can you tell about, you know, him being MVP and just how his leadership throughout that process?
Well, with Philly, you know, he didn't play the greatest first half last night either. But you know, like I always say, a couple spirited conversations at halftime, you know, got him on the right track. And he came out and he played and he balled, you know, in the second half. And he really, you know, because Jamari played okay last night, but he's still like 80% nursing an injury. And not granted, we don't have any more games, so he'll be fine. But for last night, he was probably about 80%. But once again, he played, and Jamari's 80% is probably better than a lot of people's 100%. So he went out there, still had like I think 10, 12 points or whatever he did, and a couple of assists, a couple of rebounds, things like that. So, but Philly really had to step up. Alan Beatram actually been playing well the whole postseason.
Yeah,
kind of goes under the radar a little bit because of the hype that Jamari gets and even other players like Philly and stuff like that. But Beatram, I think Beatram's been averaging like a solid like 16 the whole postseason, even from like MEAC tournament. He's been averaging like about 16, 17 points just consistently. And the thing with Beatram, which is crazy, which this is a story that maybe is slightly off topic, but on topic, is that I had no idea Beatram was going through Ramadan. I didn't find that out to the MEAC tournament first half against Coppin.
Oh, wow.
First half against Coppin, I'm chewing him out. I'm like, because he was playing awful, and I'm like, you got no energy, you got no nothing. This is just sit down, he's pissing me off, right? And then he's like, yo, he hasn't eaten all day, and I'm like, why hasn't eaten all day? What are we doing? And then they tell me that he's observing Ramadan, and I'm like, wow, and he could have eat till 6:50 each day in the MEAC tournament because that's what sunset. So that's 6:50 for us. It was almost a curse to have the first seed because all of our games were at 6 o'clock.
Yeah,
so he couldn't eat until the second half. So if you look at his MEAC tournament games, he played better in the second half than he did the first half.
He did play better against Howard in the second half. That is true. He did.
So it's like, once again, we, I respect all religions, but for us, I told that was like almost the worst time of the year for this to be happening because he's a key piece, and for him really to only be able to play like one half at full strength when everything was on the line, it was tough to do, and especially Ramadan had just started around then.
Yeah, it just started. Yeah.
So like now like he's a little bit more, his body's accustomed to it a little bit more. But that was like fresh out the gate. And the thing that Beatram, I said, how do you normally do this? And he says that, well, normally I'm not playing. I was like, oh damn.
So remind me, did he have to play more because Tyrell was in foul trouble against Howard? Did that really mess him up then? Or did he play alongside him?
When against Beatram?
No, he played.
Yeah, the Howard game because Bladen he went out foul trouble. Foul trouble.
Yeah. And then Beatram just came in. Yeah, Beatram played. We went like 4 guards for a while.
Okay.
Beatram came in because Beatram was having a good game. He had it going a little bit against Howard. Jamari had to go in the first half. He didn't really have a great second half, but Beatram had a great second half. So
okay.
We're gonna miss Beatram, man.
I saw him. Yeah, you said he said some nice things about him after the game at the press conference. But in terms of, you said Jamari's injury, is that the same injury he had against Howard? The same exact injury?
Yeah. So that's why he missed the Alabama A&M game in its entirety, and now he got back to about 80% to play in the championship game. But now, the season is over now, so he got all off season to do something.
Okay, so we're gonna get back to him, Coach. And you mentioned LeBron earlier. You all already know, Wole. You remember, the whole world remembers the decision, and you had a decision as well. HBCU Twitter was kind of blowing up about, okay, what is Coach Jones going to do? Is he leaving? Is he coming? Is he going? But you signed the extension through 2030. I don't know if you could have imagined yourself being at Norfolk State all these years, but what went into your thought process when making that decision?
Really forget about Norfolk State, man. I don't think I could imagine myself being a coach all these years. I never really wanted to be a basketball coach. I never wanted to be a basketball. That's not like one of my dreams or anything like that, to be a basketball coach. It just kind of happened by accident, and it just happened that I guess I'm doing halfway decent at it. But it's like I never really wanted to be a basketball coach by any means. So even 11 years so far, and some of the accolades that I've got is like a blessing, And then with the whole thing with Twitter and perceived, just like I know nobody really know where I live, but you can see I'm at home now. People think I'm in Chicago right now. Like I think I left the game last night and went to Chicago. It's like I'm in Chesapeake, Virginia. You just can't see Chesapeake outside. But the thing with that situation was that I actually never signed anything. It was like it was an automatic kicker in my contract, and it was like, my contract was already to 2029.
Okay.
Oh,
It was like if you win the regular season, you get a 1-year extension. So I won
Gotcha.
the regular season this year, so that was my extension to 2030. So it was just really like an automatic kicker. But I tell you, it did help calm the talk about going somewhere else. You know, even though it's like a decision was never really made, because if you notice, that job is still available. But it's like you know, I'm cool here at Norfolk State. Let's just say that.
But it doesn't, and in terms of like pride, doesn't it show you that you can have Twitter like blowing up in an hour space, right? Have it blowing up just to know that, like, oh no, he's leaving, like, and then knowing that you've garnered that type of respect.
No, that's crazy, man. That was crazy. Because I went to Kroger, which, you know, supermarket out here, right? So some little lady walked up to me. She's like, "Coach, don't leave us. Don't leave Virginia." And I'm like, "Who the hell are you?" Like, you know, it was like from that tweet to like the news reporters and the this and the that, and of course people, you know, some people gonna weigh in their opinions anyway, because everybody like it's always like a bad deal if a HBCU coach wants to go, you know, and in different ways. Like some people who are HBCU fanatics are like, "Why are you gonna leave us to go to?" You know, blah blah blah. And then some people who are PWI fanatics don't want to see an HBCU coach. They don't value what we do. You know, they don't. I mean, that's the truth. They don't value what we do. They're like, well, he only did that at Norfolk State. Well, Norfolk State is probably beating some of your favorite teams, you know, so far. You know, so that's the thing that they don't understand. So it goes both ways. And then like with fans, like I always say, man, you know, and I'm thick-skinned, so at this point I have fun with the criticism. You know, so it's like. The applause and the criticism both motivate me, you know what I mean? Because like the applause, you know, makes me want to keep those people who do appreciate what I do happy, and the criticism makes me want to, you know, just keep those guys mad, just keep being mad at what I do, you know. So it motivates me both ways. But so I'm sure there's some people that was hoping I left, and then there's some people that wish I stayed. So you know, that's where we at with everything. And like I said, man, every year, you would think that something like this is going to happen, because hopefully we can keep having continued success.
Right.
And with success, people are going to want you. You know, people are going to want what we've done at Norfolk State. You know, somebody put out a tweet today after the CIT championship, which, you know, when you're in the moment, you really don't understand what's going on. You know, like I'm just here trying to win basketball games, man. I don't really like keep track of like every single stat that I have. You know, there's some stats that I know, but I don't know every single stat that Rob Jones' career has, you know, and stuff like that. But I'll be the first one to tell you that, you know. But somebody put out a stat like the last 6 years, we're 125 and 66. You know, with an NIT win, a NCAA win, a CI tournament championship, you know, 2 NCAA appearances, 4 regular season titles. It's like just those 6 years alone is more than a lot of people do their whole career. For real. So, you know, I've been blessed, man. You know, and I really take it as a blessing. I try to stay humble. That's why I don't know a lot of stats, because I try to stay humble. Like, because I think when you start reading your own clippings and start, you know, really knowing too much about yourself is when you start, you know, to like start getting, you know, this big, you know, head and things like that. So, you know, it was good to see that, because I actually shared it with my assistant coaches. I'm like, did you guys know this? You know, like I didn't, and most of them said they didn't realize it either. You just kind of just in the moment, you know, and just try to get things done.
So Coach, we spoke about obviously your team winning the regular season title and falling at the Howard in the semis in the MEAC tournament. But how will that tournament loss fuel your team next season, your returning team next season, and how will it fuel you as well? And
you know, returning team, who the hell knows what that's going to look like, right? This is honest, you know, is that like I said, I told my coaches, like today, Thursday, everybody's still happy about the CIT championship. So it's a quiet day, you know, a real quiet day. I was like, let's see what our team looks like by Monday. Once people, you know, start to figure out whether they want to leave, stay, you know, who's unhappy, who might be happy, who just want more, you know, stuff like that. So, because nobody wants to be like the person that the day after you win a championship say, I'm going to the portal. Like,
Okay.
you almost look like an idiot doing
Yeah.
that, right?
Yeah.
You know, like, yeah, y'all just won a championship yesterday, and you in the portal today.
Yeah, I feel you.
48 hours from now, 4 days from now, a long weekend from now, people, you start getting that, hey, can I talk to you for a second, coach? Text. You know what I'm saying? So, we've been fortunate enough that we haven't had a lot of people go in the portal over the years. But once again, you never know. You never know what people are thinking. So I think that question is probably, if this interview was next Tuesday, would probably be better suited that, what does your team coming back feel about losing to Howard? Because none of them might be back. Who knows? Nobody going to care about the Howard, loss per se. So,
I hate the transfer portal, but go ahead though. Ray, you can go next, man. I hate the portal.
It's true, man.
So you gonna skip your next one? Okay.
Yeah, no, I know that's yours. That's yours. Actually, that was a mistake, bro.
Okay. So because I was looking at the other one anyway, Coach. Because we're gonna talk mid-major basketball because I know the HBCU narrative. I know how you feel about that. But following the last game, you mentioned the Howard game. You mentioned you and Jamari didn't always see eye to eye. And the season was filled with ups and downs. And like you said, you don't even know if he's coming back. He's probably going to be a hot commodity after the season he had, to be real. But if he does, let's say hypothetically, how do you think he's going to grow as a leader based on how the MEAC tournament ended for him?
I think tremendously. I think that, the one thing about Jamari Thomas is that, like I said, it's no secret that we didn't see eye to eye at first. And it wasn't like, super like disrespectful type thing, anything like that. But it was just like, some of his ways he had just wasn't rolling with how I wanted to roll with. So there was some times that he had to go sit on that sideline. He had to go run upstairs. He had to go, because this is like, some habits that he had just wasn't what I was going for, honestly. And as time went on, things got better and got better and got better. And I think we're in a good space, now. I think we've been in a good space for a little while now. I think he fully understands what I want. And not saying that it'll never be any kind of flare-ups, because that's just player coach thing when you compete really hard. But I think that for the most part, he understands that what I was trying to get him to change about himself was all for the better. It wasn't like, hey, change this because I just want you to change it. No, change it because Jamari needs to change it, because this would make Jamari a better player and a better person going forward, a better teammate, things like that going forward. And I think that he sees more of that now than maybe he did at first, but he thought I was just on his case about everything. So I do think that he'll be a better leader as time goes on, and hopefully a better player. And I know right now he's a pretty good player, but I think he could be a better one.
He seemed like he appreciated at the presser after the Howard game. He kind of referenced that, like he came in a certain way, and towards the end of the season, he felt like like you made him a better person. Because he said he was far different earlier than what he was at that time.
No, and he's right. I mean, we had some battles, man. Battles. But the thing that I used to tell him, and I think that all players, not just Jamari, all players all across the country, is that you can't win against the coach, really. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you can't win. It's like you gotta really, and you almost, and I know some situations are more like hostile than others, whatever.
Yeah.
You gotta just kind of give them what they want so you can be happy, because you can't win. Now, I know some coaches don't always have the kids' best interest at heart. You know what I mean? Like, I do. And I think that, like I said, it took Jamari a while to see that, okay, these coaches are not like any previous coaches. They actually do have my best interest at heart. So, I think things changed tremendously for him.
So what you say that, and I think it's a cool thing, because that you have his best interest at heart. But some coaches on the flip side would be more concerned that, okay, if I talk to him a certain way, that transfer portal was like right there at the end of the season. Now I'm worried that I'm going to rub him the wrong way. So it's cool in a way that, like, you pretty much don't care about that. It's all about grooming the young man.
Yeah, I'm gonna, at the end of the day, if somebody leaves or somebody stays, I'm gonna be able to look myself in the mirror and be like, hey, I did right by them. So, and I mean right by them as far as treating them fairly, and also try to help them become a better man, in the future. So whoever leaves, it's like you can be really nice to a kid, he still leaves.
True.
You can be really mean to a kid, he leaves. True. So it's like loyalty is at like a premium these days, and if a kid like, left or whatever, like, it'll be a little disturbing because it's like you gave them such an opportunity that wasn't presented to them before.
Mm-hmm.
So do you feel used to a certain extent? Of course, I think you do. But also, if you take your feelings out of it, you also know that objectively, this is the nature of the business, and this is what's in these kids' head. It starts like with AAU. Like you look at an AAU, kid, he'll play with 4 different AAU teams in the same summer. You know what I mean? It's like, he'll play Adidas, he'll play Nike, he'll play Under Armour. Like, damn, there's no loyalty anywhere over there. But it starts early, and it's like, you hope the kids see it. Like, hey, Coach Jones or Norfolk State gave me this opportunity that nobody else gave me, so I'm gonna stay rocking with them, and then I'm gonna try to make the best out of it for them. But a lot of kids don't see it that way, unfortunately, man. That's just the truth. They don't really see it that way. And like I say, it's unfortunate. They're not cut from the same cloth that we're cut from.
Right.
It's like they just, they're different, man. So like, when you're indifferent, you gotta try to adjust to different, I guess.
Yeah, I was wondering how you guys would mesh because you got that kind of no nonsense. And as you referenced when we interviewed you and MEAC, you like, we get everybody's best shot, Norfolk State and the MEAC, because we've been beating people for years. And Jamari, he adds fuel to that fire because he always yapping, man. He scores, but he's always talking. I was wondering, like, I wonder if Coach Jones ever going to say, hey, man, shut up, man.
About 100 times this year. Because it's like,
man. I said he light skinned too. That's gonna make it worse. But moving forward, though, he had a great season, though. Especially considering he was MEAC Player of the Year coming in after Joe Bryant. Man, we got a lot of respect for homeboy, though. Real talk on this show. But like I mentioned before, we want to talk a little mid-major basketball because that's what it's all about. At the end of the day, I mean, Norfolk State is an HBCU, no doubt, but you have built a great mid-major program. You had some good wins: VCU, Illinois State, Florida Gulf Coast, William & Mary. So we've talked before about scheduling. Do you think now teams are going to be more willing to say, you know what, we'll play Norfolk State because they actually are a good mid-major program? Or is it going to be like, well, we don't want to play them because they're giving out L's to mid-major teams that many thought they should lose to? Like my man told me, VCU fans was like, how y'all lose to Norfolk State? And I'm like, damn, that disrespect is real. So what do you expect this offseason in terms of scheduling and maybe get a team like VCU at Eccles? They can come play you at your home.
Yeah, right. So the thing that I say is that I told my guy Stephen Willie is going to be doing our scheduling, right? I told him this is going to be the hardest year to do scheduling ever because of who we beat in non-conference, of the regular season championship, and then the CIT championship to cap it all off. And then if everybody comes back like we hope, we potentially return our starting 5, right? B-Tran did come off the bench. He was a 6th man in the year.
Yeah.
So we do need somebody to take B-Tran's spot totally because the 6th man is very important. 6th man is just as important as a starter. But potentially we have the whole starting 5 coming back from a team that did 24 games that, got all these accolades and stuff like that. People are not trying to play you, man. Like the people don't really try to play us anyway, honestly, because of the respect they have for the program. But now, man, we're gonna be playing against y'all. Hopefully y'all got a team or something. It's gonna be, I don't know who we're gonna play against, and stuff, because it's gonna be tough out there. I already know how tough it is. Like I'm not even thinking about scheduling because I know how tough it's gonna be. Like, I'm not even thinking about it.
Well, I mean, y'all play UTEP close too, so you might have to schedule some of the I guess bigger schools, so to speak, and you can still play them. I mean, like you said, the transfer portal, the climate, everybody's affected by that. So, you never know, man. I know that's real though because I've had a coach tell me here. I ain't gonna say his name in the DMV, but he was like, man, I got a text from me at coach, and I'm putting that brother on ice because I ain't trying to play them. He said it straight up. He said if I have to, I'll schedule them. So. There's a respect factor for the MEAC that is not necessarily put out on Front Street, but it's there though, no doubt, because I've heard it.
Yeah.
So Coach, speaking of the MEAC, it seems like a bunch of teams are now starting to improve over the years. Do you feel like the MEAC is getting tougher?
Without question, I think that with just 8 teams alone, it seems like it's tougher. I don't know why, because honestly, some of the teams that we lost were some of the even better teams, like when we lost Hampton, A&T, things like that. Those are 2 of the better programs. I know Florida A&M and Bethune used to kind of like bounce around, like you never know what you're gonna get from them really. But losing two of the better teams and see like everybody else got better, has been an interesting thing, honestly. It's just been interesting. And I think that the coaching has gotten better, because there's three coaches, who and the recruiting has gotten better because you got those coaches that really want to recruit some players and things like that. But the thing that I tell anybody, Crafton is one of my good friends. We're not just coaching colleagues, he's actually a friend, is that he was asking me one day, how do we stay, kind of up top, on the top so much.
Yeah.
And I told him, I was like, respectfully, well, you're my friend, but I can't give you all the sauce because you are a competitor. But because he had a good year, and he fell this year, and then we'll see what happens next year. And I just say, man, is that you just don't. I mean, I don't have a sauce in a bottle type thing. I just try to find the right place. Like this year we could have easily fell off this year, 8 new players. But it's you try to have a good system from an X and O standpoint, try to plug and play different guys, and then you got to just get them to believe and get them to understand. And then, sometimes it takes this team, we had to have constant talks about culture and things like that because they don't know. There was 8 new guys. They didn't know, So it's hard to do, because for real, that's the one thing that gets me a little frustrated sometimes about what naysayers. And I know I might not have a whole bunch at this point, but there's still some out there, right? There's still some out there, right? That some of the things that people say should have been said maybe after my 3rd year or something like that, my 2nd year. Coach can't do this or coach can't do that or whatever you want to say. It's cool, right? But to hear some of the people after we lost to Howard, after my 11th year, when we finished no worse than 3rd in 11 years. Never had an under 500 record in conference in 11 years. All these accolades that we already talked about earlier in the show in 11 years, right? It's almost like, how dare you even part your lips to say something negative? All you got to do is say, yo, Howard beat Norfolk State. That's it. It's not about, the players are bad or all of a sudden coach can't coach. You know what I mean?
I got you.
211 wins. I trust me, I can coach. You know what I mean? Trust me, on this one, right? So it's that's a little thing that's frustrating. And Kraft last year, and even we had South Carolina State had a great year this year.
Yeah.
And things like that. And the thing I say is that with us, I have this mentality of do it again, right? And for me, that's what I live by. Do it again. Do it again. Do it. Show people you can do it. So I challenge people once you have a good year, do it again. So you can see how hard it is to do it again. You know what I mean? Because now, this year, you got Eastern Shore had a great year last year, but now no one's overlooking Eastern Shore anymore. And Coach Crafton helped change that, right? South Carolina State had a great year. They were predicted to be 8th or 7th or something like that or whatever, right? They finished, 2nd or 3rd or whatever they finished, right? They finished 3rd in the standings, right? Great year. But now no one's overlooking you next year. So do it again. So it's with us doing it again and doing it again and doing it again, sometimes people don't really understand what we really are doing because they see us doing it again, and stuff, and they don't realize that, Joe Bryant wasn't there. You know what I mean? Jamari Thomas had to step up. And then other guys with pieces had to step up. That wasn't around, at all. For us to, in quotes, do it again. You know what I mean? So it's that's what we, a little frustrating is that people need to understand what we're really doing, at Norfolk State. Because it's not easy, man, to have a 68% win percentage the last 6 years with the schedule we play. Yeah. Come on now.
I ain't gonna lie. So I know when Ray and I went to Eastern Shore, Norfolk State wasn't the basketball team that we thought of. Just going to games. So I remember after graduating from college and whatnot, and watching, seeing the old the Kyle Quinn team and whatnot. Then I was like, oh shoot, Norfolk, they hooping now. And then from that point on, it's been this whole type of this run. So yeah, to your point, you all been consistent. So that says a lot, man. It says a lot.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. It's hard to do, but credit to all the coaches, the players, the administrators, because you gotta have a good administration team. That's one of the most undervalued things, that you gotta have some administrators that want to support. Because even with the CIT, our administrators could easily said, "There's no way you're gonna host a home game. Take your ass on the road," right? You know what I mean? But they saw the importance of being able to try to figure out or try to get in the mix to bid for a home game, which a lot of HBCUs don't see the reason behind trying to do that or the purpose, trying to do that. Because, I'll be the first one to say our school probably lost money on like bidding, because there's a lot of different things you got to do as far as like production wise, some of that host a home game. So we probably lost some money, but I think that we gained the smiles of those kids' faces. We gained the community seeing a championship game in their backyard, which now can translate to next year. So it's like there's some things that wasn't monetary that we gained that might turn into dollars down the stretch. But a lot of HBCUs don't see that, and that's why you see a lot of HBCUs when they play like the CBI or the CIT, they're always on the road, because either one, they don't have the money for the budget, from the budget to do it, or two, they don't see the value in doing it. So I shout out to Athletic Director Webb and Dr. J, our president, who saw the value in having a home game.
That's what's up.
So, Coach, we done kept you overtime, bro. Not intentional, but it's all. Hopefully, it's all good with you.
It's all good, man. Y'all my guys, man.
Appreciate you, man. Sure. Appreciate you.
Hey, man, we appreciate you. Like he just said. So, our last question is, what's the plans for the summer? HBC United, TBT. You got plans this summer to coaching that again, or you gonna just focus on trying to get that schedule done?
I'm a semi-retire from the TBT for this summer.
Okay.
I need to summer back. I need to probably dedicate it more just to work on my son, because my son has 2 years left of high school. So he's right on the cusp of being like a really, really good player. Like he's pretty solid right now, but he's on the cusp of being like a really, really good player. And I think I need to like work on trying to push him over the top. The thing I say is that no matter how much I love my team, and I treat him like my son and stuff like that, like I do have a real son. I do have like flesh and blood, because those guys, they become your family, but they're in theory strangers. Really, they just become strangers, become family. But it's like you gotta dedicate some time, to your real flesh and blood, man. Because like I'm helping everybody else try to live their dreams. Whether they're pro, so I gotta help him live his dreams. He wants to be a college basketball player, and like I say, he's right on the cusp of it. And I'm saying that from a coach standpoint, not from a father standpoint. For him, he gets it both ways. He gets coached more than probably father, for real. Because I'm like, nah, man, that ain't gonna work on a Division I level, stuff like that. So I'm gonna try to get him, together with his situation. So I'm not gonna do the TBT. I'm not coaching in any All-Star games. In the past, I've coached in the Columbus game and in the Final Four game and all that stuff like that. So I'm hanging up this summer as far as extra coaching and things like that. I ain't doing no extra coaching, so I might go support B-Tran at the HBCU games in Phoenix and things like that.
That's dope.
I'm not trying to be there all week coaching, and I'm not doing all that. Because really, if you know, the real rule is that whoever's the coach of the year is supposed to coach that game. So I was the coach of the year, obviously, but I'm not coaching that game. So I think Coach Motor could go have fun with that game, man. He can go have and I wish him well, because he is in the MEAC, So if he's if he's watching, Coach Mo, go win that game, man.
Definitely. So, hey, this is a good question then. So, we talked about LeBron. So, are you going? And obviously, LeBron wants to play with Bronny. Do you want to like coach your son? Like
only if he's going to be one of the better players. And when I say better players, like clearly he'll be a freshman coming out eventually in 2 years. Yeah. So he probably won't be the best player as a freshman, but he has to be somewhere like a guy that's like in my top 7, top 8. Because if he's that, then now no one can say you just giving your son extra bit.
I got you.
Because he's your son, I tell him all the time, if you're going to be my 13th man, then you might as well go play D2, D3, or play somewhere else. Because there's one, I'm not going to play the 13th man. That's one. Whether it's my son or not. 2, if I feel the inclination to play you, people going to be like, yo, why you playing him? He's a bum. You know what I mean? So it's like, so that's 2. And then 3 is that your college experience is not going to be the greatest. And now the father has to kick in. I want my son's college experience to be a great experience. I played Division III basketball. I had a time of my life. You know what I mean? So wherever he can go, that he's going to be able to play. If that's with me, great. If it's somewhere else, cool. And the last thing I say, if he's a player that's like all of a sudden super, super good. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to be one of the people either to say, okay, if you're top 10 in the country, that you have to come to me. You know, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that to him either. You know, because honestly, I've been fine just without him. You know, like, and I think I'll be fine with, you know, like without him going forward too. You know, so go do what you want to do. And hell, you know, with the way they're giving out 700, 800,000 NIL money, man, go get that money and come bring it back to the family, man. Bring it back to the family. Bring it back home.
I love it.
Bring it back home. You know, like, you know, short some of the short money they give out. You know, like the you know the 25s and 40. You know, like people that's like really good money. Yeah. And it is for a college student, but that's what I try to tell my guys. Like that short $20,000 or whatever the case is, like you might take that money and not even play at the next institution. So would you rather not take it and now get an opportunity to like do something like Christian Bankston, you know, doing like Bankston want to sign this big high six-figure contract overseas, or like Joe Bryant and things like that. So you can either take 20 now or get 200 later. So, like you got to make the choice, you know. And granted, everybody's family situation is different, right? But take the 20 now or 200 later. Now I can't tell you to take don't take the 700 now. 700 is a lot more than 20.
That's different. That's different.
You know, if somebody said, "Hey, because my son's name is Justin. Hey, Justin Jones, you know, we'll give you an NIL for $700,000." I told him before, you don't even got to come talk to me about it, man. Don't sign when you got to sign and go get that $700,000, man, and we'll figure it out later.
Ain't that the truth, bro? Ain't that the truth?
Dad will be just fine. I will be just fine, man.
It's amazing having to balance that as a parent, though, because I got a kid in high school too that's in athletics, and you know I'm all preaching HBCUs on here, but I'm telling her like, hey, you take the best opportunity possible. You know? I mean, I'm being real. I would love for her to go to HBCU and run track, but at the same time, like, hey. You take what you can get, and like you said, have the best time of your life in school.
Yeah, and you got to weigh your options, like really weigh them. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, even like a kid like you said, I know you guys said Jamari, and there's no secret, right? That I'm sure that somebody that's going to want to give him an NIL, but it's like he's not going to get a $700,000 NIL, so you know he's not going to get a $500,000, you know, whatever. You're not going to get those kind of things, right? You know, so it's going to be like, you know, somebody trying to come give him 40, 50, something like that or whatever. And 40 to 50 to a kid, like, you know, might seem like, oh my God, this is a lot of money. Yeah. I guess it seems that way to maybe to a lot of people. Like if I come and give you $50,000 and say, here, Ray, take this, you be like, shit, what I got to do, you know, for this, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, at the same time, it's like Jamari could go get a bigger deal. Like, you know, like if he becomes back-to-back player of the year and you know, he has a good shot to do it, you know. Now his monetary, his financial trajectory is totally different than a $50,000 NIL. You know what I mean? Like his financial trajectory is like way different because you could take that 50, like I said, and you can go to a school and yes, you'll be rolling around campus as the man. I got $50,000 in my pocket, but you might not play.
That's the thing. That's what I'm saying. You may not play. It's your passion. Is your passion to hoop, like the hoop, or is it just to get that, you know, like that small? I mean, it's 50,000 is good. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah, it's good, but it's not 500.
But not for like, if you want to play, if you want to bench, not doing anything, and you know your skill set, and you know your skill set, and you know what you can do. I would rather want the opportunity. And
as a competitor, that's not going to sit well in your spirit.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's not. Not on the bench. Not 50,000 on the bench. I'm sorry.
I got somebody in mind. I'm not gonna say it. I'll wait till we done recording, but that they bet on themselves with that, man. They paid off, so you never know. But
they weren't promised to be on the bench though.
Like I said, we'll talk about it.
Oh, okay.
I ain't gonna say. I'm not gonna say it now, but you know.
All right. Okay. Well, Coach, man, thanks for being on. Anything you want to add?
Sure, man.
No, man, I appreciate y'all, man. You know, anytime I come on with y'all guys, you know, it's cool.
And Coach, man, we appreciate you, man. Thanks for being on the corner, man. We do definitely appreciate it.
All right, man. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you.